Ladies and gentlemen, it is about damn time. The NASCAR 2021 Cup schedule is finally out. After all this anticipation, we've been waiting on this schedule for the past, 3 or 4 years. It's been very anticipated and it's finally here. And man, take a good look at this because it's a lot to take in. I'm not gonna even lie, going into this, I didn't think that we was gonna have a whole lot of new tracks. I thought that we'll be lucky enough to at least get two new tracks at most, but we got more than that. And I thought that we was gonna be most likely getting Iowa or probably Gateway, mainly looking at Gateway, but we got, a bunch of new road courses and another not mile and a half, but it's close to a mile and a half. So it's a lot to take in here. I'm gonna give my thoughts on the schedule and run through it. And I gotta say, for the most part, this is a step in the right direction. It is. NASCAR really needed this. The schedule has been stale for so long. The schedule has been the same since like what, the early 2000s. So the only thing that got added really between, I'll say 2001 or scratch that, 2002 all the way up until now is Kentucky. I'm not gonna even count the Roval because the Roval is like its unique thing, but yeah, Kentucky was like the only truly new track added to the Cup schedule. Other than that, every year you just see Cup dates, dates just get moved around and that's it. This is a true schedule overhaul. So I'm gonna break this down. There's a couple of things I don't like, but for the most part, I do like what I see right here. I'm gonna take what Steve O'Donnell likes to say about the aero package, this shitty ass aero package. I like what I see. so so we're gonna start off with the Clash. That the Clash is gonna be run during the weekday, Tuesday, February 9th, and it's gonna be run on the Daytona Road Course. Now we know how the Daytona Road Course is going to play out pretty much because they raced at it this year due to COVID because they had to take Sonoma off the schedule and Watkins Glen off the schedule this year because of COVID, along with Chicagoland. And speaking of Chicagoland, I'll get to that in a little while. But yeah, so we pretty much know how this race is going to play out. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be that great of a race because it's gonna be less cars in the field. It's gonna be like what, between 18 to 20 cars, and that's gonna make it less exciting. It's kind of like how Bristol is. You need a lot of cars on the track to make Bristol exciting. So I just don't think this race is gonna be all that great. But I do like road courses, but with only 18 to 20 cars in the field, I just don't think it's gonna be all that great of a race. I think this is just NASCAR just experimenting, trying something new, and we'll see how it goes. Then you got the duels Thursday, that hasn't changed. That's the dual races. I kind of wish they can go back to having these dual races during the day so these guys can kind of like learn what they got for the 500 instead of running them at night. But I guess it's going to continue to be at night. And then you got the Daytona 500 where it belongs, the first race of the season, the first points pan race of the season. And I'm glad that, because it was a rumor that was going around earlier this year, like very earlier this year before COVID even hit, that the Daytona 500 wasn't going to be the first race of the season. And I really thought that NASCAR was gonna change this for a second. I thought that Sonoma was gonna be the first race of the season or something like that. No, keep this as the first race of the season going forward because the excitement just, it won't be the same. Like if you was to have Sonoma or even Talladega as the first race of the season, it wouldn't feel the same. Daytona needs to be the first race of the season. The Daytona 500. It's been the first race of the season since what, the mid 1970s, I think. So it needs to stay that way. Then we get to Homestead, and I kind of hate that they're doing this to Homestead. Homestead went from being the finale to just getting rotated every year. Last year it was like this past year, this year right here, I think it was like the sixth or seventh race of the season. Now it got moved again to the second race of the season. I kind of wish that they can swap Homestead out. Like they put Texas right here. Let's get Texas out the way early. Take this Texas race right here. Move it to the second race of the season so we can just get it over with and put Homestead in the chase so it can still be a meaningful race. But I don't have too much, I'm not really making a big deal out of that, but I do want Homestead to be a meaningful race still because it's a really great racetrack. It's one of the very few mile and a halves that actually puts on good racing, even with this shitty aero package that they're running right now. Then we got Auto Club, the final race at the 2 mile track because in 2022, Auto Club is gonna be a half-mile short track. So I like that move. I never gave my thoughts about it. I like it. We need more short tracks on the schedule. Even though there's a lot of short tracks around the United States that NASCAR can go to, and I guess they just wanted to take one of the tracks that they got now. Even though this track puts on good racing, in my opinion, maybe not with this aero package, um, but they just decided to turn it into a short track, and that's fine. So I like that move. So it's gonna be the last race of the. It's gonna be the last 2 mile race at Auto Club before they turn it into a short track. So we begin the West Coast swing with Auto Club, and then we continue to Vegas. Nothing different with that. Well, Vegas was the second race of the season. That's the fourth race. And then we go to Phoenix, Atlanta, and Atlanta is getting two races starting in 2021. So I'm guessing this race is going to be a day race, and then the next time they visit Atlanta is not going to be until July 11th, dead square in the middle of the summertime. And if NASCAR was smart, they would have this race run at night because I'm pretty sure NASCAR is going to have. They're going to try to have at least a certain capacity of fans there. They're gonna try to have some fans at the track at every race next year. Not full capacity, but they're gonna try to have fans at every race next year. As long as COVID don't get out of control again. So yeah, I think because if you try to run that Atlanta race, the second Atlanta race that's in July 11th, fans are going to suffer in the stands. It's going to be blazing out there. So I strongly suggest that NASCAR runs this race at night. This can be run today. This can be run tonight. The March 21st race in the day, the July 11th race at night. That's how I think they should do it. Then we get to the first major change that one of the first major changes that NASCAR made, turning the spring Bristol race into a fucking dirt race. And I don't know how to feel about this. I really don't know how to feel about this. I'm 50-50. This is either going to be really good or it's going to be really bad. It sucks because you're technically taking away a short track, but at the same time you're doing something unique and you making this a dirt race, and this is gonna be the first time that the Cup Series is gonna be running on dirt since the 1970s. Not to mention this is gonna be a points paying race, so it's a pretty big deal. I'm 50-50 on it. At first I was totally against it, and I was like, you know what? Maybe this won't be as bad. Maybe they'll get a lot of dirt guys, like World of Outlaw guys, to enter. Who knows? It might be a pretty big entry list. Maybe it'll be like the Daytona 500 to where you get like 45 cars entering. So who knows? But I'm 50-50 on it. I mean, NASCAR had to do something though, because the spring Bristol race, man, it just wasn't getting the ratings. It wasn't getting The fan attendance was terrible. It's been terrible for a while now. So I see why they did this, try to do something a little different. So we'll see how this goes. And if it doesn't work, who knows? They might take it off the schedule the very next year. Um, People have to remember that NASCAR is not locked into these 5 year contracts no more with these tracks because they own ISC. So it's if they want to make changes, they can just make them the very next year. So for the most part, so if something doesn't work out on the schedule, they can always change it again. And Steve O'Donnell already confirmed that they got more changes on the way for 2022, and I'll talk about that later on after I get through going through the schedule. But yeah, that's the first major change, and then we got an off week. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven races, and then they're off on April 4th, and then we're back to racing Martinsville at night. That should be exciting. Uh, really glad that they installed lights at Martinsville. Really glad that we got a cup race at Martinsville at night. I really enjoyed this year's night race at Martinsville. Uh, Pretty good race. Then we go to Richmond. I think it's gonna be on a day race again. And if so, I don't mind. Maybe the racing will be better. You'll probably see more slipping and sliding than usual. So we'll see. Uh, then we go to Talladega. Nothing different there than Kansas. I think this is a day race because it says Sunday. I couldn't imagine this race being a Sunday night race, but I think it's Sunday. I think. Then we go to Darlington. This is another major change. Darlington is going to have two races again, and this is feeling like 2004 again because you remember back in 2004, Atlanta had two dates and Darlington had two dates. Well, it's like that again in 2021. Uh, this is not gonna be a 500-mile race. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a 400-mile or 300-mile race, while the Darlington race and the Chase is gonna be the Southern 500. So, and this is most likely gonna be run during the day. I hope. If I had to guess, it will. While the Southern 500 will be like a transition race. It'll start off in the evening, then it'll transition to night, like how it's always been. So, and then also more news. Darlington will be running the 750 horsepower low downforce package at Darlington, and also Nashville, another new track I'll get to in a minute. But thank God, because man, I even though these past the high downforce wasn't the worst thing at Darlington, I'd much rather have them running low downforce. I wish they could run low downforce everywhere because I truly despise this 550 high downforce package. I hate it. I really hate it. But Steve O'Donnell loves it though, so he's gonna fuck what the fans say. You know, he if he likes what he's seeing, he's gonna keep it. So, but man, I'm so glad Darlington got two dates again. I'm not a fan of tracks having two dates, but if you're gonna give tracks two dates, give them to good tracks. Short tracks and tracks that put on good racing. Atlanta, even though the racing hasn't been all that good, it's better than Texas. It's better than Michigan. It's better than Pocono. So same thing with Darlington, especially now that they're going back to low downforce for this race. Just look at the show that the Xfinity Series put on at both Darlington races this year. The battle between Chase Briscoe and Kyle Busch, and then the battle between Ross Chastain and Denny Hamlin. So low downforce is a great move. So thank you, NASCAR. Thank you. Then there's Dover. Dover is gonna have one date going forward. Because Nashville took its second date. And then we go to Circuit de Americas. This is the next major change. This is the third major change. Circuit de Americas. And man, I remember when rumors rumors came out about this track being added to the Cup schedule. Then Tony Stewart went to go test on it, and he said that he felt like that NASCAR could put on a pretty good race at that track, and here it is on the schedule, Sunday, May 23rd. And what I'm really hoping is that they're going to run 750 horsepower. Obviously, that'd be stupid to run 550, but I really hope they run low downforce because one thing that they did at Daytona Road Course that I didn't like was that they ran high downforce. They ran 750, yeah, but high downforce, and I didn't like that because I felt like that the race could have been more exciting had they ran low downforce as well. Drivers would have made more mistakes, wheel hopping more going into the corners and etc. And then we probably could have seen higher speeds as well. But they took the safe route, and that's probably why the Daytona road course race from this year was average. I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever, but it was average. It wasn't as eventful, and I think part of that is because of the high downforce. So I hope that with Circuit of the Americas they run low downforce. The straightaways are not that. I mean, they're long straightaways, but they're not that long to where it's like you're at dealer surf or something. So hopefully NASCAR runs low downforce there, please. Then we got to suffer through Charlotte, the 600, and man, I love the Coca-Cola 600, but it has not been good in years. I think the last time I enjoyed a Coca-Cola 600 was, ooh man, 20, probably 2011 when um Junior unfortunately ran out of fuel, but that race was good. I don't know, like in the early 2010s was probably like the last time I enjoyed the Coca-Cola 600. It just has not been all that good um for a while now. You don't see no comers and goals no more. And then with this aero package, it makes it even worse. So not looking forward to that race. It's no change with that race. But don't change the distance of it. Keep it at this, 600 miles. It's tradition. But with NASCAR running a crappy package there, it's gonna be a snooze fest. Sonoma, and that's gonna, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is getting moved up. 'Cause I think Sonoma used to be like towards the end of June or beginning of July, and I think it's getting moved up to June. I was really hoping that they would have ran Sonoma. I was really hoping they would have ran Sonoma earlier in the year, like put in the West Coast swing, so that way we can end up having. Hold on, real quick. So that way we can end up having this. When the grass is green, this will look so beautiful. But they're gonna keep it in the summertime to where the grass is dead and everything, and I would much rather them run it like this. I mean, this looks really nice. Just one time can they run it like that? It would look really nice, but they not gonna do that though. But no big deal. So Sonoma is coming back. That's good. It was kind of disappointed that that wasn't on the schedule this year. Then we go to the All Star race, and the All Star race is at one of the worst tracks that NASCAR has. We're going to Texas for the All Star race. Jesus Christ. Yeah. And unless they take the taper spacer off, and I think that'll probably be the only thing that'll make this race interesting, I guess. Run 900 horsepower. Basically, just run the 2014 package and see what happens. So we can see the cars unrestricted again for the first time since 2014. But they probably not gonna do that though. They probably gonna run this weak ass 550 package, and we're gonna see whoever takes off in that final restart in the final segment. He's our winner. It's just like Charlotte, but it's gonna be worse though. Texas is one of the worst racetracks out there now. It's worse than Kentucky. Yes, like I always shit on Kentucky. It's worse than Kentucky. Like it's that bad. It's worse than Michigan. Like they fucked that track up. I don't think that track is ever going to be good again. It's not going to be good for a long time. Is what I'm trying to say. The surface can be 20 years old. It's not going to get good. So yeah, who cares about the All Star race? Then we go to Nashville, and I remember I made a video about Nashville a while back when the news broke that they confirmed that they was going to Nashville for the 2021 schedule, and I said in my video that it was a good move, but they gotta run low downforce because if they would have ran high downforce, this race would have been shitty. Now that they run it low downforce, it's not that doesn't mean it's automatically gonna be good, but it should be a solid race though. Should be, and it's gonna be run on the Sunday, so I think this might be a daytime race. I always thought that it was gonna be like a nighttime race, but if it's gonna be run in the daytime, that's probably gonna be nice because we'll probably see some slipping and sliding. It depends on the tire that Goodyear brings as well. I don't think they're gonna be doing. They're gonna have a practice session for this track, but that's another thing that I think they're gonna have practice and qualifying for 8 races throughout this season. I think the 500 and basically all of the new tracks. I think and new layouts. So practice for the 500. I think practice for the Bristol Dirt Race, Circuit of Americas, Nashville, Road America, Indy Road Course. I think that's it. I think it's only 6 events that they're doing practice and qualifying. Other than that, though, they're doing 1 day shows again, like how they've been doing this year. I really want qualifying to return. Anyway, they're doing the Pocono doubleheader. Um, they didn't get a chance to do it this year because of COVID. Then we go to Road America. And I love Road America. This is another great move. A lot of new road courses. And I saw a lot of complaining from fans that, oh man, don't add too many road courses. And I get it. You don't want the schedule to have 12 or 13 road courses, not even 8 or 9 road courses. I think 6 is perfect. I think 6 is, the right amount. Because what people really want to see is more short tracks. Like people want more road courses, and we got that now. But you still got to get those short tracks into the schedule. Because right now we only got Richmond, Bristol, Martinsville, and soon to be Auto Club. Hopefully we can get to more road courses soon. Like I mentioned, the second Atlanta race, it needs to be running at night. Then we go to New Hampshire. I really grown. New Hampshire has really grown on me over the past couple of years. I think them putting the PJ1 down actually has improved the racing. And I'm not a fan of the PJ1. I only like it for Bristol and for New Hampshire. So looking forward to that race, July 18th. Then NASCAR is off. NASCAR got back to back off weeks for the first time. So that's interesting. That's gonna be kind of painful though. 2 weeks, 2 straight weeks without NASCAR. Damn. And then we go to Walker's Glen. Walker's Glen's gonna be back. Like I said, as long as COVID doesn't, gets terrible again. Then we go to the Indy Road Course, and they're gonna have a double header with IndyCar, and everybody's been asking for a double header. Well, true race fans have been asking for a IndyCar NASCAR double header, and we finally got it. And thank you NASCAR. And I'm glad that we got away from the oval. I know traditionalists are not gonna like that, but I always said for a while like that Indy it just wasn't meant for stock cars. I mean, the racing there was not good. I mean, the racing was at its peak there from like 2004 to like '07, and then it went downhill even more when the COT debuted, and it just has not been good. No matter what package, even in the '90s, like it just has not been a good track. It's usually a snooze fest. They treated it like a crown jewel because it's a historic racetrack. But Indy has, IndyCar has made that track famous, not NASCAR. So it's, them going to the road course is a great decision in my opinion. They're going to be racing there with the Xfinity series now. So I'm looking forward to this. IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader at Indy Road Course. That's another great move. Another road course added to the schedule. Great move. Then we go to Michigan, and Michigan has lost a date, which is good because Michigan has been ass ever since the repave. So I'm glad that that race has lost a date. Then we go to the regular season finale, which is Daytona night race, August 28th. And I didn't know how I felt when they moved Daytona to the regular season finale, but after watching this year's Daytona night race, I like it. So I'm glad that they didn't make that change. And then we get to the chase. And for those who's wondering that why I'm not calling it the playoffs, I refuse to call it the playoffs. So yeah. So they didn't change anything with the playoff. I mean, with the chase, except that they swapped Texas and Kansas around. Texas used to be where Kansas is at. Kansas was where Texas is at. They just swapped them around. But other than that, it's the same. And one thing I found interesting about this schedule that I'm shocked they didn't do is that I thought that they was gonna try to end the season much earlier, so they won't get into competing with the NFL. I thought the schedule was gonna end like around early October or something like that, or very end of September, but it's still ending in November, which is surprising. I thought that they was gonna try to really shorten the schedule. And then another thing about this schedule, about a bunch of these races is that we don't know the race lengths for these races. Like we don't know, like did they shorten the races by like 100 miles? Not the crown jewel events. Keep the Daytona 500 at 200 laps. Keep the Coca-Cola 600 at 600 miles. 400 laps. Don't touch the lengths of Talladega or Bristol or Martinsville, but I wouldn't mind them shortening the Michigan race, Las Vegas, definitely Texas. Even though it has technically one date now, even though it's hosting the All Star race, and I got a feeling that's not gonna last long. I want that to be cut down by 100 miles. Kansas, not every race, but a good amount of these mile and a half and 2 mile tracks. Just shorten them up by like a good 100 miles at least, because people attention spans are not the same what it used to be. So that's a mystery as well. So overall, like I said before, I like this schedule. This is a step in the right direction. Kentucky was taken off the schedule. I forgot to mention that. And not gonna lie, I'm kind of happy about it because I hate Kentucky as well. Not as much as I do Texas now, but Kentucky, I do not like Kentucky ever since the repave. So I was kind of shocked that they got rid of that track because it pulled in great attendance. I think it's sold out for the past couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm surprised they did that, but yeah, that's the 2021 schedule. Um, like I said, I want more short tracks because we're lacking in short tracks right now. It's not that many short tracks on the schedule. We only have three short tracks on the schedule, and then soon to be four short tracks once Auto Club gets reconfigured into a short track. It'd be nice for them to go to Nashville Fairgrounds in 2022. Gateway is not a short track, but it races like one in a way. I like the racing there, so hopefully that can be added. Hopefully those two tracks can be added in 2022. So we'll see how that goes. But and then one last thing, if the Xfinity and truck schedules come out with something drastically different, like if it's if it's the same schedules as before, it ain't nothing really different. Um, I'm not gonna even cover it. But if they're going back to a lot of short tracks, this rumor going around that they possibly going back to short tracks, like not majority of their schedule, but they're going to be adding a lot more short tracks to their schedule. And if they are, I definitely will be doing a video on it because I just made a video not too long ago talking about how the Xfinity and truck schedules you need to be unique again. They need to be unique. So I'm looking forward to their schedule. I'm really am. I'm pumped because I love those two series as well. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. That's my thoughts on the NASCAR 2021 schedule. Hopefully you guys um are liking it. So far it seems like it's 50-50. Some people like it, some people don't. But that's always been a NASCAR fan base on things. But I'm going to end it off here, guys. And until the next video, y'all have a good one. Peace.